I'm going to offer some words here to try to help you to understand that everything that you see as physical reality is nothing more than vibration that is being interpreted into a physical reality. So there is really not much difference between non-physical and physical, because everything that we are in non-physical we can experience as you do in your physical format. It's just vibrational interpretation. Wherever you are having an experience that must be understood through some framework. And whatever framework it is you are understanding it through is the reality that you are living. Everything is perceptual. There is no reality other than that which is perceptual. That is the most powerful thing that we want you to hear. There is no reality other than what is perceived. And the reality that is perceived has to be tinged, if you will, by the perceiver that is perceiving them. And so the non-physical part of you is a joyful, expansive, open, free-flying, loving, knowing, secure, understanding own worthiness being. And when you're looking through those eyes, it's a bright, beautiful world. When you look through the eyes of inferiority, you see a different world. When you look through the eyes of powerlessness or loss of freedom, you see a very different world. But all of that is self-imposed. So try to feel what your inner being feels like. That is the truest sense of what non-physical is like. Non-physical is clearly an experience, and it is absolutely a feeling. And it feels like expansion and freedom and love and joy. And it is an extremely interesting experience. You cannot accurately define what it's like to be non-physical unless you are including the physical in the explanation. Because we see through your eyes, we smell through your nose, we experience through you. You are the leading edge of that which we are, you see. The material things are not the main event. It is the exposure to experience and the subsequent improvement in experience. The things are just the staging or the enhancement of the experience, and they are representative of the vibration. But it is the experience that life is really all about. We are the greatest joy that you know. We are the greatest clarity that you feel. We are the feeling of vitality and balance. We are the feeling of expansion. In other words, you know us through your emotional center. You know when we are fully within you. You know when you are vibrationally different from us. Feel the closeness of us or the absence of us. Let it be the feeling experience that it is meant to be. That's why your emotions guide you, not your thoughts, not your brain, not some meter, your emotions. In other words, it's illogical to think that anything could be happening without the support and sustenance and flowing of source energy. So it's not that action journey, it's the emotional journey that you're having right along with it. If you walk or go to a different environment because there is something that you're not feeling good about the environment that you're in, your point of attraction has not changed, and the universe will recreate around you, the hub of this vibrational signal, something that will match again and again and again and again and again. And we've noticed that it really is, even though you don't usually think so, it really is easier to stay right where you are and incrementally begin making those vibrational adjustments than it is to upheave everything in your experience and go into all new environments and then try to begin again. If you would just do the things that are opening the doors and stop doing the things that are closing the doors, there would just be open door, open door, open door, and you would just be skipping along through this path that's unfolding beautifully before you. And the thing that you're doing that's opening the doors is appreciating and praising and doing things that say and feel optimistic, and the things that are closing the doors are things that feel the other way. In other words, the way you feel when you say them is your hint about whether it's a door opening or whether it's getting closer to a door closing, you see. You become accurate historians. And we think it's because you've had so many people that are interested in you and how you're doing, that you have conversations with, and you keep sort of explaining where you are as if they could understand anyway. And yet you practice in your mind just sort of explanation, and it comes out in the form of justification. And we believe that the basis for this desire to keep justifying or explaining where I am is because at some level of my being I know that I ought to be doing better, because at some level of my being I remember that I'm source energy, and I remember the promise that this life held for me. And there is something so deeply annoying about recognizing on some level that things are supposed to be going well and then noticing that they aren't, but things ought to be unfolding. Don't take no for an answer. Don't let yourself pinch yourself off from the well-being that you want and deserve. Finally, you've just got to get very powerful in your intentions that say, I am a very worthy person, and it's time that I start proving that to myself. I live in a universe that has a basis of well-being. It's time that I start proving that to myself. I've got to stop arguing for my limitations. I've got to stop justifying why things are not going better. At any point in time, you've got this fresh, clear start. You don't have to explain nothing to nobody. You get to say, here's where I am, and from where I am, the view's quite clear, and from where I am, I think what I prefer is. So then the question that we would put to you is, what do you prefer? Make a decision, and then make the decision right. You've already got the idea in your mind. You've lived enough life that you know what it is you want to do with this clay, and it won't be the only clay that you ever get to play with anyway. So get your hands in it. Make a decision about what you want. Make a decision, and then make it the right decision by becoming a vibrational match to it. That's how you get things moving, you see. You can go any direction and get in sync with that wonderful stuff that's being held for you in vibrational escrow. It's not in one job. It's not in one place. The potential for the fulfillment of all of that wonderful stuff is everywhere you want to go. You could live on any city on the planet and find fulfillment. You could be with nearly every partner on the planet and find fulfillment. You make too much of trying to frame out the perfect life. You really put yourself in a crippling place when you stand here and say, I am the deliberate creator of my own experience, and I've got to get everything figured out from where I am forever, evermore. Just get moving in something that feels like the approximate direction of where you want to go, and pick up more data along the way, which will help you to firm up your decisions about what you want. And if it doesn't feel good, then try to make it feel better. And pretty soon, wherever you are and whatever you're doing will begin to feel like magnificent life experience. And for heaven's sake, stop trying to compare the way your life is framing out with anybody else's. In other words, you're different from all of them. You're living a different life from them.